Turn on that radio and back here. The cops ain't likely to catch up with us, not tonight. So we can all be quiet and peaceable and listen to the music.
This episode of Auto Dealer Live is brought to you by TrueCar.
All right, guys. Good afternoon. How you doing today?
Okay.
What did that sound like?
Not our normal opener. Welcome to Auto Dealer Live.
Good afternoon.
I didn't want to do the normal opener, man. We always
I
do the
know,
same
you-
thing.
you
I mean,
crushed it.
yeah,
You crushed not doing the normal
surprised
opener.
you guys, didn't I? Huh?
Did surprise us.
All
It
right.
was like it's like you felt like I felt like you were the butler at like a very cold haunted mansion. You're like, welcome to the Auto Dealer Live today. Come on, please sit down. You ready? You're the cold butler.
How you guys doing today? It's Thursday. It's April 5th. April 5th.
Yes, it is.
And we are on the precipice of
Today
the
is April.
Digital
Or even a-
Dealer
even a cusp.
22 conference. We're
Today
like
is April
cusp.
6th.
Today
Are you serious right now?
is April 6th. My bad.
How come
my
no one
bad.
corrected us on that? Besides, yeah, it is April 6th.
It is not pre-recorded. This is live. It's April 6th.
Said I'm living too much in '82. I dumped her. That's from Napoleon Dynamite. That was my own thing.
Hey, we have. I think we've got 4 guests on, guys. Today is the pre-digital dealer show, the digital dealer show. And what is this? We do it every year. I think this is our 5th. I think this is our 7th digital dealer conference. Our first was in Vegas of 2014. But this year, 2 things I want to say. Cribbs, you've been with me, for most of those.
Yeah.
And Tommy, you were just here for on the show for the last couple. But guys, I'll be honest, including everything we've done, this conference, which starts Tuesday, then goes through noon on Thursday, we have the most guests we've ever had, the most participants in live panels that we've ever had. We also have the most dealers. I'm talking like owners and dealer principals and GMs that are flying in. We got dealers that are flying in from Indiana to be part of this. We've got some incredible people. So I'm extremely excited. We got 3 really cool shows, and today is no exception. We already have callers on hold right now, and then we have 4 great guests coming on today. So what are we going to talk about today? How do we do this? What can our audience expect today? Is this going to be boring at all?
Oh, I don't think so at all. It's like lining up a group of all-stars that we're going to get to hear, a couple minutes of
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
what they
Ezra.
have to share today, and kind of a glimpse probably of what they'll be talking about in a broader sense at Digital Dealer. And I'm excited because, number one, of course, we have home court advantage this time, right? We don't have to travel. It's right down the street. It's here in the Tampa
That's because
Bay
you don't
area.
have to fly.
Yeah.
Yes. Neither do you. I don't either, but I'm like, my name is Southwest compared to these guys. I mean, I'm like,
Right.
You're like Sully Sullenberger. You're like the captain of
That
the. Yeah, that would have been better than Mr. Southwest. But anyway, so yeah, it's in our backyard. That's awesome.
yes.
It's in our backyard.
Or front.
And as Dave mentioned,
that's
that
true.
we have some incredible guests, not just a lineup of dealers and names that you'll recognize throughout the industry, but a lot of first-time appearances for guests on Auto Dealer Live. And we're going to have 3 or 4 live shows at the event. So if you're coming to if you're not coming, you're missing out. You need to go ahead and plan to come because it's not too late. And if you are going to be here, make sure that you're coming by the booth and tuning in to when the shows are going to occur live. It's so exciting to see it happening on the floor of Digital Dealer, a live show of Auto Dealer Live.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited and looking forward to it. Hey, Lou, when you do me a favor too, run into the office there and grab that one of our new T-shirts. I have it laying on the chair in there. I want to hold that up. We got some really cool colors. I don't know if we want to grab some of the colors that are there as well. I'm going to be bringing in a gray one. But we've got some Army green shirts, man. The brand new 2017 ADL Automotive Strong shirts are out. They're going to be debuted at Digital Dealer, with the exception of my wife, who's wearing a pink one today. But
totally
we have
ruined
pink. I'm talking guys and gals. We have pink ones. I'm not talking about like pastel pink, but like cool pink, man. Like breast cancer awareness
Pink for the guys and the
Hot,
guys.
Yeah,
it's
I got
hot
pink
pink,
one.
I believe. It's
cool.
like fluorescent pink.
Cool.
It's
Right?
good. It's cool. And then we've got
And then
Heather.
your gray one.
We got Heather Gray. We've got a charcoal gray.
We got Heather Gray. We got Vanessa Gray. We got Charlotte Gray. We got
We've got an army.
all the sisters,
An army-
all the Gray
an army
sisters are going to be
green.
with
Look at
us.
that.
All the
Come on,
Gray
man. We got the
sisters.
army logo. Go ahead, y'all keep talking. I'll hold this up while you
I was
talk.
just saying, ADL 17. These are,
Boom.
and it's hashtag Automotive Strong, and you only have these through
And there's some with
this
that little logo
this
on the shirt.
2017 because after that they'll be outdated. It's like a car. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I got the new model this year. Yeah, you got the 17. Oh, I got the 17 ADL shirt. What are you doing that for? What do you want? Oh, you want the shirt back? No, you ain't getting it. Okay, you got it. Don't forget, guys. So we're not taking any extracurricular call-in today because the fact we have 77 people calling in regarding the show, correct? So
No, they're calling in. We have people calling in.
So should we give the number to call in if somebody
Yeah.
wants to talk? Okay, so you can call in 813-574-1820 if you want to have your comments heard.
Maybe you're going to
And
be a
may-
digital dealer and you want to say something. You want to add to the talk. You want to talk to one of the guests and say, "Hey, look, I saw you last year. I like that. Hey, you commented on this the other day, or hey, I saw your workshop on this. What do you think about that?" We're going to talk about everything today. We're going to talk about BDC, digital marketing. We're going to talk to dealers today. I mean, we got some great people on the panel today, and
Maybe you want to find out what kind of fragrances I really like, and maybe you want to bring me some of my favorite fragrances. Stuff like that. Whatever question you have. It could be that. It doesn't have to be that specifically. What restaurants I like. Anywhere. It could be any of that stuff, but it doesn't have to be. It could be stuff related to the car business if you want. But we're open to whatever suggestions and conversation you might have. Hashtag AutoDealerLive if you're on Twitter, and also comment on our Facebook live stream as we're talking here, and we'll maybe talk back to you. But the great thing about going to digital dealer is like, hey, guess what? You get to hobnob with us
we get to
if you
hobnob
want
with
to. You don't have to. Again, I like certain fragrances from certain houses. Call me, text me.
Wow.
I don't know why I'm pushing for that.
Yeah,
What do you want?
like cologne.
I do. I like cologne.
Like
So you get to smell us, and because this man over here always smells great too. We smell great. We're probably the best smelling radio crew.
Don't
Period.
include me in this ranting by Tommy. This is he's not going to drag me into this. Go ahead.
Right.
All
What do you
right.
say, Cribs?
What do you-
I'm just saying. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I think
All right,
something,
whatever.
you
I'm not
know,
going to sign on to that.
we
You
ha-
did.
I mean,
By proxy, you did. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, we have a lot of fun opening the show, obviously, and our banter. But I think one of the cool things we'll talk about today is what will dealers and dealer representatives really be able to
Well, hold on,
take
I gotta
away
interrupt you.
from digital.
before you get serious, Bobby
Dealer.
Herring actually did text or tweet just now and said, "What is your favorite fragrance?" I'm just saying.
gosh.
Oh, she said IPD. Bobby, my favorite. I wear Creed. So I mean, I like Aventus, and that's what I wear. So it's but my wife just brought me back. She went to Atlanta last week and went to Neiman Marcus up there and brought me back a new bottle. It's pretty cool. But I like Aventus. I like the Santal from the Creed. I'm a Creed wearer. Tommy,
I like Aventus as well.
I-
I like. I'm
Big
wearing
bus
today. I'm
and I
wearing
cannot
Chanel
lie.
Coromandel.
I
their
really
exclusive
like.
line.
I really like the 2000.
you like
Delish.
Brute.
I
right?
like the 2017 Dodge Challenger SRT8 if someone's bringing something.
Put some right behind it.
So you were saying something serious.
there.
But go ahead, man.
I
I'm sorry.
was-
I had a
well,
comment, Bobby Herring.
yeah.
You know, when Bobby speaks, we listen.
Yeah, I was just, obviously trying to reel it back in as we get ready to go and have our guests come on live. Again, for dealers that are watching and people who are working in the industry that wonder, why would I go to Digital Dealer? What's there? We're going to get a glimpse of that today, and we're going to be giving you kind of a preview of what you can maybe expect to take away from Digital Dealer when you come this year.
Yeah, and I highly encourage it. I look forward to it. It's a highlight a couple of times a year for me personally, and I don't get out of the office a ton. If I'm out, I'm speaking somewhere, and or doing something of that nature. So I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing some friends and some fans, some listeners, some friends of ours. We look forward to meeting you guys. If you haven't met us, man, come by, please. We love the opportunity. We're at our booth a lot, and we want to talk to you. So.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to be right back in just a minute, guys. We're going to have an incredible panel today. We have the Digital Dealer Show. You don't want to miss a moment of this because we've got some outstanding panelists, and we have, I believe, already 4 callers lined up to come in as we speak to join our panelists and to start the dialogue. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, I'm Chip Perry. The pledge was and is an action plan designed to address head-on the concerns that many of you told me about right after I took this job. Thus far, our dealer pledge has been aimed at fixing the major pain points that you told us about related to our product, our customer service, and our consumer advertising. I'd like to reiterate that our dealer pledge is our ongoing commitment to you, our dealer customers, and we will continue to work hard to improve our service to you.
Hey, Jason Rice from Lot Pop. Lot Pop is a new and used car consultant firm where we do weekly calls with our dealers, but we track out and trend out hundreds of charts looking at their inventory management tool and marketing on third-party sites. We've taken the top 25 metrics and created our own lot score for our dealerships, which will allow us to break our inventory down into current status of our inventory, the marketing of our inventory, the stocking of our inventory, and ROI. We're making that same scoring system available to all dealerships, clients or not. This is a great system for dealer groups also to compare their dealerships week after week and how their inventory is scoring out to their goals and the best practices. Introductory price of $195 a month, no contracts. Check out more information at lotpop.com. Click on Lot Score, get a demo, sign up for a demo, or call us at 844-LOTPOP4. Thanks.
Attention dealership managers.
Do you have a sales team that's underperforming? How about a sales team that's doing amazing, but you still think there's room for improvement? If so, I have a solution for you. My name is Mark Jennison, and I'm a sales performance trainer. I've helped countless salesmen and dealerships take their skill to the next level through lead generation, setting quality appointments that actually show, holding more gross, and delivering exceptional customer experience. So if you want more, if your team wants more, if you're looking to skill up, go to markjennison.com/dealership and let's roll.
Is this helping?
All right, we're back, and thank you guys for listening. We'll welcome you to the Digital Dealer Show and Auto Dealer Live, and we're going to jump into our panel, and we're going to take some calls. We have Flo Lopez, digital advertising consultant at Cox Automotive, on the phone. John Marazzi, managing partner at Brandon Honda and Sun Toyota. Kerry Wise, vice president, dealer education at True Car. And we have Paul Sansone Jr., owner at Sansone Jr. 66 Auto Mall, which is Kia, Nissan, and owns multiple stores. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Look forward to seeing all of you next week. And we look forward to a great discussion here for a few minutes. And thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule.
My pleasure. Thank you, David. Glad to be here.
Yes, thank you all. And, I'm going to also ask Tim Jocelyn, who's calling in right now, to join us. Tim Jocelyn with the Furman Group. And, and Tim, can you hear us? Are you with us right now?
Yeah, I've got you, David. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. So, I'm going to start with you, Tim, and let's talk about what's going to occur at Digital Dealer. Obviously, you're going to be joining a keynote panel that Dave Villa will be moderating. And tell us a little bit about what you're going to be talking about and what dealers may take away from that panel.
Well, there's a few really good topics going to be taking place. The one that I am most looking forward to is the hiring, finding the right people for the job, especially with millennials these days. It's a new type of hiring. It's a new type of program that you need to look at and how you hire. There's just a lot involved, and the question of leadership comes into play, and I think that most of your guests will agree with that.
Yeah, it does, Tim. And you're in charge of a important department at the Furman Auto Group, which has 17, 18 stores here. And you hit it on the head with leadership. And I'm gonna let John and Paul. Not that everyone on the panel could not respond to that, but going to John and Paul for a second. Paul, you're also going to be on that particular panel. It is a tricky deal, and it's time that we kind of delve into it, and that's one of the reasons Tim is on the panel as well, because I'm interested in bringing our audience that day solutions and not just talking about it. So I'm looking forward to getting into that content. But John, you've seen that. I mean, you've been in the industry for a little while, even though you don't look like it, John. I mean, you're in better shape than most millennials.
He's a CrossFit.
Yeah, I mean, you so you don't look like it, but you've been in the business for a little while, and you've been extremely successful. But you also do a great job at transitioning these young, very sharp millennials into very successful automotive professionals. So, listening to what Tim said, and one of the main topics, what can you say is something that you found, if you had to land on one thing, that helps you when it comes to that hiring and retaining that talent that a lot of people are challenged by?
Well, the key to it is if you want to hire people that will eventually become 8s, 9s, or 10s, or you want to hire people that are currently 8s, 9s, and 10s, your organization has to match it. The fallacy is that you're going to be able to hire these great people, which are going to make a great organization, but the organization has to be top-notch in order for those great people to be attracted to the store and, more importantly, stay at the store. So you really got to take a hard look at the reality of your culture in your store. Is it really what you think it is, or is it a completely different paradigm? So what I'll talk about is what the culture should be like, what you should be focused on, some of the things you need to be looking at, and we'll talk about some things that you can do, such as management surveys and different areas there, to really get a key to figure out what's going on your floor besides what people are just telling you.
That's good. That's good. And Tim, I'm excited, man. I know to sit with you as well and see what you are bringing to the table. My experience with meeting you a couple of years ago in Tampa at Digital Dealer for the first time was you're big on leadership. I know. Thank you again for your service to our country. I know you served for quite a while, and you've been in executive management for a while. Done a great job. Very impressive. So I'm looking forward to the tools that you've practiced over the years being able to be brought to the stage, and I know the audience is going to benefit from that as well. So, Tim, man, I know you're extremely busy. Look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you for calling in, and it's going to be a great one, man.
Thanks. I'm excited to be there, and it was an honor to serve.
All right, Tim. Thank you very much.
Tim. Yeah, let's.
Thanks, Tim.
I'd love for Paul to weigh in, as Dave mentioned before, on that same question. I know that Paul's a very hands-on owner, and this is probably right in his wheelhouse. So, Paul, tell us a little bit about what you feel makes the difference in attracting the right people and being able to hire and retain great talent.
Well, I'm a very keep it simple kind of guy, and there's just some things in this industry that don't make sense. 80% of the leads that we have coming in are coming in online. We have an 80% sales turnover in non-luxury brands. That's not a statistic that anybody should be proud of. And think about our sales floor. So 80% of the people that are touching our dealerships in one way, shape, or form are doing it virtually, but probably 5-10% of our sales staff are trained to handle them. So I sort of stumbled into BDC boot camp when my oldest son, Paul, graduated college. I just happened to be doing a full reload on the BDC and training, and that was where his place to start was. And after 90 days of what I call BDC boot camp, he walks out of the BDC selling 15 to 20 cars a month and making well over 6 figures his first year in business. I've replicated that model several times to the point that it's now a mandatory. Obviously, I had to grandfather in some guys, but anybody that works for me now does not even start, regardless of how many years you've been selling cars, does not even start until they go through BDC boot camp. And I've reduced my BDC from a high of 8. I've cut the BDC in half, and I've generated a sales floor of people that are held accountable, know how to handle business, are making money because they're handling more lead opportunities. And it's been a recipe, besides, I have other things that I do for my salesmen in reference to helping them brand themselves. But I truly believe that when I bring a salesman in, he's brought in with the ability to succeed. And the fact is, they don't make it at a BDC boot camp, they don't make it to the floor. So when they hit the floor, they know the CRM inside and out, they know the dealership's policy, they know word tracks. I just can't say enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Kerry, you're on as well. Thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to you co-hosting with me on one of our live panels. We've done this a couple of times now, and everyone just loves it when you do. And you're going to be speaking and talking about and how not, I guess, coincidental that we have a couple of those represented in John Marazzi, Paul Sansone, Tim Jocelyn. You're going to be speaking on the habits of highly successful dealers and talking about the tactics and the strategies that drive. And I think that listening just briefly to what these guys have said just in the last few minutes, I mean, that's kind of just an example living. I mean, you're nodding your head. I see you on Skype, but I mean, isn't that what you're talking about in essence?
No, absolutely. I mean, there's a ton of best practices that are thrown out in our industry. There's industry trainers, there's vendors. And from my point of view, the best way to figure out what works is to really study and learn from our best dealers out there. And so this past year, we set out to study 75 of the most successful dealers on our program, at least, dealers that embraced a high level of transparency and had close rates that were twice as high as their local competition. And so we mystery shopped these dealers. We went on the road and interviewed their management, sat with their BDCs and internet sales departments to understand their process, looked at their pricing strategies, reviewed their website. So we did a top to bottom review of some of these dealers, and then came up with the 10 habits that were common across all of these dealers. And so that's what I'm going to share in my session. The best practices, specific tactics that these dealers use to drive their success. And you'll be surprised. It's not what you think.
There you go. Yeah, so there's the teaser. By the way.
And I'm not even going to get into what those are because I don't want to give away the dessert before we eat dinner. But you know what? I guarantee you this: not knowing what they are, I know enough about habits. Positive habits. Reading Stephen Covey's book that 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you do them, then you will succeed. So I'm assuming that whatever those habits are, when you share them, that if you follow them, then you're going to see success in your dealership. So that's incredible.
Absolutely.
And I love the case studies that it sounds like you guys have done. By not just, hey, this is what sounds good, but this is what we've done through our research. And so that's going to be great. And dealers that are listening right now, I think that anybody, I know guys like John and Paul, I mean, that's just something that people that want to continue to get better, that interests them. It interests me as a business owner, and so I'm excited to hear that as well, Dave. That's some cool stuff.
Yep, it is.
And the great thing is that no one does everything perfectly. We're going to cover 10 habits, but there wasn't one store that did everything perfectly. So there's an opportunity for even the best to improve. And so I'm looking forward to share it. One hint is that it's not about price, not just about price. So that's my one hint for you on one of the habits.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think Carrie makes a great point in the fact that not every dealer is nailing all those 10. So I think there is a huge opportunity for dealers to come and hear Carrie speak. Let's go to Flo Lopez, digital advertising consultant at Cox Automotive. Flo, are you with us?
All right, we might have lost Flo.
Yes, I sure am, guys. How you doing today?
Oh, great, Flo.
I love the picture there. That's awesome.
Yeah, we love your picture, Flo. That's awesome. So coming to Tampa to Digital Dealer. Now, will this be your first event, Flo, here with Digital Dealer?
No, I'm fortunate enough to be. This will be my 4th time presenting at Digital Dealer, so I'm really excited. And Carrie, it's good to see you again too. I had an opportunity to interview you and Chip. Yeah, it was great. And we found out that Chip Perry can sing a little country and western on a podcast we had too. So a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've been on the show before together.
And
that's awesome.
And Flo, you're going to be speaking on profiting from videos in sales, service, BDC, training, and social. And one of the reasons that I asked if this was your first Digital Dealer is I wanted to point out to the audience that I know that Carrie has taken part in so many, and Flo, this will be your 4th, as you said, and so many others. But I think one of the things to point out is that if you're a dealer and you've been to Digital Dealer maybe last year or the year before or something like that, it's something new every time. I mean, every time that we have people speaking, right, it's a challenge to put the new and most relevant information out there for dealers. So talk about maybe what that's like for you and what it's going to be like for dealers when they come to the show.
Well, it really is exciting to see. And like you say, each Digital Dealer seems to evolve more from the rest. And like I said, this will be my 4th opportunity presenting just with video, and just by questions from the audience, questions from the dealers. You know, my own workshop has evolved too, and you know, we're trying to pack more and more into 50 minutes, and so it's pretty neat. We've got a lot of people that kind of want to get creative with video, and it's just awesome. And seeing all the vendors and what's going on in the industry is really exciting.
John, before Tommy's going to bring on a couple callers here, but John, Paul, John, have you seen, regarding with video and you know, obviously, you know, you own the television market here, but using video and social and digital, I mean, have you taken that incredible video production that now you have your GMs doing, have you taken that and put that into other avenues of marketing and seeing success on that and helping your store?
Yeah, we do quite a bit with video in our workflow, in our internet lead management. I start off with a quick video from me and Zeus, and then we do a second follow-up video on day 5. In addition, we do tons of video pre-roll. We do a whole lot on Facebook. As you know, we're doing that Battle of the Bay campaign right now. So if you go on our website, suntoyota.com, brandonhonda.com, pull up the Battle of the Bay website. We got some funny stuff between our 2 GMs. They're in the CrossFit gym. They're going at it. They're on a lot racing, you know, different things to cut through the clutter. And that's what, you know, a lot of people are looking for right now. So, you know, your one guest said it's not all about price. It's all about atmosphere and fun and culture and a place people want to do business with. And, you know, people believe half of what you say, but all of what they see. And most people are visual. So that's where video really cuts through the clutter. You know, and if you really have your arms around your YouTube channel and your social side, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, is really taking advantage of being different and being up to date and being interesting, you're definitely going to get more opportunities and eyeballs.
That's good.
Well, gentlemen, think about online. How do you create a personality? When you meet somebody and you have a handshake, you know, you have an immediate impression, positively or negatively, but that salesman with that personality is able to convey that. Electronically or on digitally, that's how it's got to come through it, through the video. And we as dealers have to evolve. And when you think about the last few digital dealers, you know, the topics that were talked about 4 years ago aren't even talked about anymore. It's moving at lightning pace. And the fact is, I can't even imagine that some dealers are still not realizing that if they don't jump into the game and quickly, you know, that the game's going to pass them by. And I mean, when I say the dealers, I mean the dealers investing in their sales staff and their managers and bringing them up to speed. It's just mind-boggling to me to think that if we don't change, that we're going to improve. I mean, it's very fast, the pace of change.
Yeah, that's very true.
Mr. Andrew Myers, what's going on, buddy?
How are you guys?
How are you, man?
You know, it's sunny in Seattle, so I'm saving my trip to the tanning bed, so I'll fit in Florida.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice. So what do you
I'm soaking it up.
So what is Digital Dealer 22 going to look like for you, brother? What are you coming for?
You know, it's funny. Sitting here listening to some of your other guests, it's really intriguing to me how, like you just said, Digital Dealer has helped the entire conversation evolve quickly. And, 4 years ago, I'm sure there were others, but I was the only person that I really heard hitting on some of these notes about video. And for me, Digital Dealer is about demystifying digital and demystifying video. That's exactly what the last previous guests have said, which is video is an opportunity to put a personality in front of a person and to allow that person the freedom to decide that they don't like the person that they're talking to, because by giving them that much leash, you give them the possibility to decide that they do like the person that they see. And I think that's really what it's about, is understanding that when we talk about digital, it's not an opportunity to move binary ones and zeros. It's an opportunity to move customers. If you use it to put a live human person in front of somebody, have them put their personality on display and hope people like it.
That's good.
Awesome.
Let's
we got a lot of callers. So we got
a lot of callers. Go ahead, Tony.
No, I was just gonna say we got a lot of callers, so we'll let everybody give their 2 cents in. So
Let's bring Bobby Heron, I think,
Yeah,
on the
she's
phone.
all
Let's
over
bring
Twitter,
Bobby
yeah.
on. And Bobby, and maybe you could also engage Bobby, John, Carrie, Paul, and Flo as well. They're going to be on with us for the next few minutes while the callers are calling in. But Bobby, go ahead and comment and question, and then maybe engage the panel and see if we can get some dialogue started with Bobby's always good at starting dialogue. Hey,
Yeah.
Bobby.
How you doing, Bobby?
Yeah, I am good at a dialogue. That's a definite. Well, we're super excited to be having a conversation with everybody today. And the comments that I've been hearing lately are awesome. I'm really big on personalization and humanizing your staff. And we don't spend enough time using the skill sets that we hire for to get in front of people, right? Words are just a series of letters strung together on paper until you add meaning to them. And nothing does that faster than video. So I'm a huge fan of that. And I'm speaking next week at Digital Dealer on Tuesday morning. Actually, I call it morning. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm obviously a night owl. So I'm speaking Tuesday at 2:30 and talking about texting compliance. I consult for dealers, and it's a common issue that I see all the time where people are putting themselves out there where they could end up in a lawsuit because they don't know what they don't know. They go to a 20 group, just like they do at conferences like this, and they hear a room full of people say something that sounds smart, and they're like, yeah, that's right. That's a good idea. It's not. So we're going to be talking about that on Tuesday. And then also joining the panel to talk about BDC versus sales and what's the right way to go. So I'm stoked for that.
That's going to be and that's going to be an incredible panel, and we've got so many guests on that. We're rotating out on that live panel. But let me go back again to John, just asking, John, how cool is it? I mean, I go, I don't like the dentist, but if I go to the dentist, for my teeth cleaned, you get this little message on your phone, and I get it from my daughter, where it says, you look forward to, your daughter coming in, and hit Y for yes. And, it's so convenient. And it is what Bobby's talking about, with looking at compliance. I mean, it's John, everybody walks around everywhere. You can't go from office to office without having this device, this phone on them. So is it necessary in this environment that we're in today because of that, but because also that's a great place to market to make sure you're compliant? Is that something, John, that that really you think is important right now and should be at the forefront of a lot of dealers' minds?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, we are in a very litigious society right now. So you have consumers looking at disclaimers and looking for ways to, and then, of course, you have reputation management where, they could attack you and try and, capitalize on a dealer's mistake. So you certainly want to make sure that your attorneys are looking at everything and making sure that you're fully compliant. But with that said, you don't want to go the opposite route and say, we're not doing that, and we have too much liability, and I'm worried I'm going to get sued. I mean, there's so many great things with technology nowadays, but the key is to make sure everything, some dealers, they sign up with every vendor that pitches them a great idea, but they never really implement it. They never really come with a complete strategy of how those vendors and how those tools are going to integrate. But, nowadays there's little things that you can do that aren't even technologically savvy that don't cost anything, such as like how many salespeople and managers, after they verify an appointment, are sending the customers a simple calendar invite.
Right.
Well, keep in mind though, guys, like that's great and that's what you should be doing. But keep in mind that if somebody hasn't opted in, and by opted in I mean a double opt-in through text, then it's a minimum $500 per bubble you send, with a maximum of $1,500 as the charge when you knowingly and willfully break the law. And here's the problem. One conversation with a customer that looks something like this: hey neighbor, I'm looking at a new car. What do you guys got on rebate? Oh, no big deal. Yeah, we got this, and this. 5 text bubbles go back and forth. All of a sudden, 2 months later, you think to yourself, well, it's my neighbor. It's not that big of a deal. It's just my neighbor. Except that maybe your neighbor's wife is home that day, or her husband is home that day, and they get one of those fun little cards in the mail you get from Sprint that's like, did you use Sprint from January 2008 to March 2010? If so, go to this link. It's going to look something like this. Were you texted during this time? And the minute that person says yes, you open up a class action lawsuit, and somebody is going to be the target. And it's such a simple thing to avoid if you understand the law. And you're right, marketing is huge when it comes to texting, and it's a form of communication that people want, myself included.
Yeah.
But we have to be legal about it, and there is nobody out there talking about what's legal and what's not. There's a bunch of FAQ pages on websites for vendors that sell text stuff, which I don't sell, by the way.
Well, Bobby, thank you so much for calling. We look forward to that. In dealers, you're listening, and this is something that you know you should be doing. And if you're not marketing through text message, then you're obviously missing an incredible opportunity. So then let's make sure we do it right. Thank you so much, Bobby, for calling in with that as well. We look forward to seeing you in a couple of days.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next week.
Carrie Wise, don't you think that, before Dave brings on our next caller, again, going back to the 10 habits, again, that may not be one of them, but somebody would be listening right now and saying, hey, if I'm going to be a successful dealer, if I'm going to be a dealer, that's going to move the needle, then, hey, I believe, sure, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get sued. I don't want to get, hammered, but man, I need to kind of be laxed on some of these things because that's going to affect me in my bottom line and affect me maybe from being aggressive. That's probably a fallacy. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I think it's about risk and reward. And so, when it comes to text messaging, and I've spent a lot of time with dealers on text messaging and compliance. And while there is a risk with compliance, and you got to make sure you're buttoned up in that way, the reward is so much greater. When you look at how consumers interact with dealers, the amount of information they share through a text message versus traditional email or phone call, it's so much greater and opens up doors for dealers that you don't see. And it's definitely part of what I'm going to talk about, a little bit of what I'm going to talk about in terms of how top dealers are communicating with consumers. They're trying new things, and just as long as you're doing it legally, she's absolutely right.
Cool.
But the reward is so great.
Awesome. Thank you, Carrie. And we're going to bring Doug Van Sack into the conversation. Thanks for hanging on, Doug. Come on in. And
93. I got to read this.
Go ahead. Oh,
real
just
quick,
a moment, Doug.
Just one tweet that came in, I think, before we go to Doug. Guys, this is something, Joe Ingram, I like this. 93% of all text messages are read. Send the opt-in to everyone in your database. So, hey, there you go. And that's, something that's actually, thank you for tweeting that, Joe. So, very, very, that's a cool statistic. That should make everybody feel better about, the fact that, if you just send the opt-in, you might just get it,
Yes. Yeah.
But anyway,
exactly.
go ahead, Dave.
No, we'll go to Doug Van Sack.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And Doug, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you for hanging on the line. And Doug, what is it that you're going to be doing at Digital Dealer? What will you be talking about? What do you think dealers will take away?
Yeah, thank you. I'm with AutoLoop, and we're going to be talking about a recent study that we completed related to digital engagement. And we're excited to be presenting the results of the study, which resulted in a white paper that we produced called Life After Loyalty. And ultimately what we did is we looked at the behavior of 4 million customers and almost 10 million digital interactions with dealership properties. And we found that there was a significant relationship between the level of digital engagement at dealers and some of their financial results. And ultimately, we think this is really important for dealers because we're finding that over time there's a decline in loyalty, partially driven by the transparency available from various digital channels and digital assets. So I think the challenge over time for dealers is to navigate the new waters of digital, which makes switching between different stores easier for customers and using that to their advantage. So we're going to produce some insights that are going to help dealers, better manage all these different digital channels that they're dealing with.
Okay. Doug, thank you so much. When are you speaking, Doug, so we can make sure our listeners know if they want to come and check that out?
Yeah, I'm speaking at 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning, okay. Awesome. And thank you so much. And you're with AutoLoop, man. Thank you for calling. I look forward to meeting you. Haven't had an opportunity to meet you. Heard great things. So thank you so much for calling in. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and bring in another caller on as we're slightly behind. But thank you very much, Doug.
Okay. No problem. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Mayer, come on, Sean. And let me ask you this, Paul and Flo, would you guys like to comment on anything you've heard so far so we can kind of keep the dialogue? I want to bring you guys back into the conversation. We'll start with you, Paul, as a dealer. Anything that you've heard so far that you've wanted to comment on that you think may need a little more attention?
Well, again, I still think everyone's talking above the salesman's level, which I would like to see the conversation move down a level, because they're the ones that are meeting and greeting and interacting with the customers. I just see a big void in the industry of us engaging our sales staff and bringing them up to the level of our customers. We have the most intelligent consumers talking to, en masse, the least educated sales force. It's not a recipe for success. And none of this other stuff matters, because you got it without the one chain and the link. It just, in my opinion, not that it doesn't matter. I just feel that some of the conversation has to start moving down a level, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I can see that, Paul. And, one of the things I think is one of the benefits of what Digital Dealer does offer is that variety. They have such an amazing list of speakers and topics and venues and workshops that, you can kind of go in and kind of tailor it to you, basically like an a la carte. You can pick and choose and go into the ones that are going to maybe Paul maybe address a little bit more along the lines of the salesman. But I think Paul really is talking about industry wide, though. Maybe we need to focus more on that.
Yeah, and I'll open that up to John, Kerry, and Flo, and then we'll bring Sean in to the discussion and let him shift gears a little bit. But I mean, Flo, John, Kerry, I mean, you're listening to Paul, and this is from a dealer who does very well. And Paul, somebody tweeted out just a minute ago that, I don't know if they're related to you or not, but if they're not, they were complimenting you and said that you're one of the smartest dealers out there. And I thought that was a pretty cool tweet. But what he's saying, guys, is that the customer's educated, but are the salesmen, keeping up? And do you see that? Flo, Kerry or John, do you guys see that as something that is possibly, needed a little more in the industry? And I'll let, we'll start with Kerry and then go to Flo and John.
I couldn't agree more. When we look at, even the consumer on TrueCar, they're taking 15 different steps before they ever reach the dealer, spending 20 minutes on the site, and arming themselves with lots of information. And one of the biggest hiccups that we see is that real disconnect between what happens online and then when that customer goes in the store. And so from a third-party website standpoint, one of the challenges we see is that GM might sign up for a program. They might sign up for TrueCar or Cars or Edmunds or whatever the program is, but their sales staff isn't trained on what the consumer is doing on those various sites. So there's a big disconnect. I couldn't agree more.
Flo?
And Kerry, think about it. Who needs handling a TrueCar customer? You need an absolute pro. And I'm not knocking. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that it's an absolute pro that needs to be on the other end of that lead opportunity in order to make it work out for the dealer financially, or it's just the chase to the bottom.
I agree with you.
Flo, you have a comment on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to sort of dovetail with what Kerry said, because consumers nowadays are, there's so many touching points in the whole process. Smart dealers will find out where the customer is in that process and take them to the next step. Are they in the research level? Are they ready to test drive? But assuming that buyers walking in the door are not internet customers, I think is a mistake that often dealers make.
I have a quick question for Kerry. Let's go back to Kerry for just a moment. On this subject, does TrueCar offer the availability for someone to come in to the dealership and maybe, that's a TrueCar partner, to come in and help salespeople or help a dealer understand and kind of walk through that process of what we just talked about?
Absolutely. That's been our number one focus over the last year. We hired 100 people that, they don't sell. They just go in and to train. And part of it was that disconnect. We have 500 different websites we power, Sam's Club and Consumer Reports, and all of these sites are powered by us. And so when a lead comes in through one of these sites, one of the biggest disconnects is when that salesperson doesn't know much about the program. And it just falls apart from there. So, yeah, our number one focus is getting in these stores and at least training them on our program and what they should expect from the consumer when they come in.
Thank you.
Awesome. And Sean Mayer, thank you for waiting. And I know you've been on for a little while. Thank you so much. I've known you for a little while. And what are you bringing to Digital Dealer? What are you going to be talking about? And then John, maybe when Sean's finished, maybe if you'd be the first on the panel, just to maybe give your input on what Sean is going to introduce as a new topic point, as we have just a few minutes left here. Sean Mayer, thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate being in such great company of some of the best thought leaders in the industry. I'll be bringing to this Digital Dealer, it's kind of one of the best kept secrets in the industry. It's one of the most profitable, that's for sure. And it's coming from a study and us being a first mover back in 2015 on a thing called dirty data. And there was one of the most recent studies that IBM produced on the world of, on the state of dirty data, is that about a $3 trillion epidemic. And I'm going to bring it down to a dealer level and really articulate and dive into what it's costing a dealership and really how to fix it. And dirty data is not just this macro problem that's global and for big companies, but it's all the way down to a small dealership. And I'm going to actually get into the numbers of what it's costing a dealership on a yearly basis and how to fix that.
Okay, John, as a dealer, obviously you're progressive. You market a lot, and you have 2 stores. And you're always looking. You once told me that you would sit down with, given the time, you'd sit down with any vendor, hear them out once. When you hear something like that, obviously, what's the question that comes to your mind from a dealer perspective?
Well, that's exactly why people should go to Digital Dealer. That particular presentation, I'll attend because he's exactly right. If you don't have good data, whether it's an email address or a physical address, or even the ability to do variable offers and data mining, it's really not doing you any good. That's the great part about Digital Dealer. And to your other guest point about the salespeople, he's also right there. The biggest problem we have in our industry right now is we have an educated consumer that really, for all intents and purposes, doesn't want to pay a profit. And most of them are going to choose the dealership that quotes them the lowest price. So in order to pay your salespeople, they're happy and they're willing to do the training if they can be successful and they can earn money. The way that they're going to be able to earn money and the dealer's still going to be able to compete on price and compete on some of these tough deals you got to take nowadays is you got to make sure all your profit centers in the store are clicking. You got to make sure your lane flip the sales is working. Your F&I department's doing the numbers they should be doing. Your accessory department, just in accessories this month at the Toyota store, we did $179,000 in sales for the month of March. So it's maximizing each department and grabbing, in our fixed operation and making sure, our collision center's getting fed. Those are all the things that dealers need to look at and make sure that their net to gross is 30%, their net to sales is 5%. And when that happens, you're able to pay your people to do their job. The consumers are much tougher to handle nowadays, and the salespeople know that. They don't mind doing it as long as at the end of the day they could go home to their husband or their wife or their significant other and say, I've earned enough money to pay our bills.
That's a good point.
Yeah, great point, John.
Let's get to, we got some more callers, guys. We're going to try to fit everybody in here.
We have a couple more minutes on the show, so we're trying to fit the other callers in. And
so we got, is it Hayden or Haddon?
It's Haddon. It's like Coach Madden with an H.
There you go. I get that.
Or like Madden NFL football on video game on EA Sports, which my wife doesn't like me to play. That. Okay, go ahead, Doug.
Doug, what you thinking about Digital Dealer? What are you expecting in Tampa next week?
Well, I'll tell you what. Listening to the panel and some of your guests already today talking about how fast everything's moving at light speed in the auto industry and retail sales. Talking about video, talking about texting and all the things that affect the dealership. It seems like all the departments are kind of in. You can make an appointment on your phone for the service drive. You can look at cars. But one thing that seems to be kind of the department's holdout is the used car department, which is kind of funny to me because there's a lot of software
a lot of technology out there for the used car department to be more efficient, to make more money, to sell more cars. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about, hey, what's the real profit look like in a used car department? I heard Dana, one of the other guests, that we're going to talk about data-driven inventory. There's plenty of product out there to help you decide, what the right car is. But do you have a plan? Do you have a process? Do you have somebody actually following up on that? Talking about profit per day, and then we're going to look at it kind of a different way. Dealers spend a lot of money going out and buying used cars. If I'm a dealer and I'm out there spending money on used cars, I want a good return on that investment. A lot of dealers think, hey, let's look at, how fast is my inventory turning? What's my average gross profit? And those are all great ways to look at it. But, we're going to take a look at the inventory just like it's you went and made an investment at the stock market. How much did you put in? How much did you go back? What's your true ROI? So we got a formula we're going to play with there. And it's all about price and age, right? It's all time is money. So we're going to walk out, we're going to put together a little plan for dealers they can walk out with, have a structured aging pricing plan that'll help them grow their profits. Okay. And once they understand all that, we're going to talk a little bit about where do I get the right cars that my customers want, and what data do I need to look at to find out what those cars are and how to go get them. So it's going to be a jam-packed 50 minutes, and it's going to be kind of like shoving a gallon of milk in a quart jug. So everybody needs to bring 2 pencils and a lot of paper.
And when is your session?
It's going to be 10 o'clock Tuesday, April 11th.
All right, so we got some competition on
Tuesday,
April 11th.
I know somebody else does that too.
Well, thank you very much, Doug. I appreciate it, man. Look forward to meeting you next week. Make sure you stop by and say hi.
Hey, one thing. Thanks for having me on. One thing real quick. There's going to be a charity auction. I want to make sure everybody's aware of. We're going to auction off a Sea-Doo in the middle of the show on Wednesday, and it goes to Make-A-Wish Foundation. So everybody bring their checkbooks and their cash, would you?
Cool.
Nice.
Very cool.
Nice. Thank you very much, Doug. See you then, man.
Thanks, James. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
As we're bringing on, we got 2 more callers in, but when we let you guys go, I know that thank you so much, the 4 of you, for hanging out with us. I know you guys are so busy, but so if you can bear with us for another 5 minutes, John, while we're bringing on the next caller, we have 2 more, but Paul, I'll go to you first. I mean, listen to this about used cars, regardless of the workshop or not. I mean, is that an issue? Is inventory something that dealers really need to get a handle on when it comes to pre-owned? Is that something that should ring a bell to every dealer?
Well, the only thing I can tell you is in the last 5 months, I actually was not taking it as seriously. Not that I didn't take it seriously. I didn't take the information as seriously as it should have been taken. And my used car business has exploded, not by my efforts, but by someone who came in, was much more knowledgeable on how to use today's technologies to really move my used car operation, and it went from a weak spot to a strength. And that is a pure example of technology driving the ship. You just really have to have somebody managing it. But I couldn't come up with one single thing that technology has helped me greater at my dealership operationally and profitably.
Yeah, that's got to be a good feeling, Paul, with that used car department.
Well, let's bring on both our last callers.
I'll be honest with you, I wish I was the one that really drove the engine. I guess I was smart enough to hire someone to eventually do it. But the fact of the matter is, anybody that has a used car problem can be fixed immediately. Within 90 days. A dealer may have to bite the bullet, sell the cars at fair market value, forget about what you own it for, but the technology is out there for us to move cars faster, more profitably. And for dealers, cash is all sitting out in my used car lot. So I'm a happy camper right now.
Another reason to be a digital dealer. Go ahead, Dave.
Absolutely. And then we're going to bring both of our last 2 callers on together. John Marazzi, I believe. John, you dropped off. John's not there, right? So John, I think, dropped off, and we want to thank him for coming on. He's going to be on one of the panels next week. And so we got Flo, Carrie, and Paul, and then we're going to bring on Josh Mitchell and Matt.
Sean.
And Sean still. Okay, Sean, Sean, real quick, give us the date you're speaking. So I forgot to ask you that. And then
Excellent. Yeah, I'm speaking on April 12th at 9 a.m. And again, the topic is dirty data, and all this great conversation is about selling cars. And
one of the things that this nets out to, and what we're going to focus on, is 88% of those opportunities, right, are missed. So we're talking about maximizing profits, training sales guys, and all of this stuff is really valuable. But it's what happens to that other 88% that we're not closing according to the NADA that then just compiles and aggregates inside of our CRM, lost, dead, erroneous CRM entries, relocation information like Paul, I think, referred to, opt-outs. And ultimately, those drip campaigns fall off the cliff, and we have years and sometimes a decade worth of CRM data that's sitting there stale, and literally not being marketed. We're going to talk about how to fix that and turn that into revenue, and take a non-performing asset and get it working again. And that's Wednesday morning at 9 a.m.
Awesome.
And I really appreciate you guys having me
No,
on
man,
today.
Sean, our pleasure. Our pleasure. Look forward to seeing you again next week. So we have Josh Mitchell, Matt Koenig, and then, of course, we have Flo, Carrie, and Paul still on. So we'll go to Josh Mitchell. Josh Mitchell, director of BDC with Dan Cummings Chevy. These guys are moving like 900 cars a month up in a big old giant huge metro town called Paris, Kentucky. I'm not sure how they do it, if they are trucking, if they're like dragging people from other counties or what. But Josh, man, thanks a lot. And of course, everyone knows Matt. So Josh, you got a panel of 3 amazing people on, man. What are you going to be talking about? And I think we know. And then go ahead and give us a little bit what you're bringing.
Yeah, I'm going to be speaking on BDC or NAW. It's kind of a funny story on the whole title of it, but I'm going to be speaking about, is a BDC good for you, or is it something that you can do without? And then go into the benefits of a BDC and how you can actually grow your business. That's the real reason why we went from 150 units in 2011 to selling over, right around 900 in the city of 10,000. A lot of it has come from our BDC department. We're about 65% of the business now.
What happens when they all have a car?
So I'm going to be talking
when all of them have a car.
What's that?
When all 10,000 have bought a car from you, man, what are you guys going to do then?
So what's December look like? In other words,
yeah. What are you going to do for the last 2 months of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I know that's the great thing. We have been able to pull a lot of people. With the city of 10,000, we've got Lexington, Kentucky, which is about right around 225,000 people. It's not too far from us. And then we're pulling a lot from, which I'm driving right now in Cincinnati, Ohio. We pull a lot of people from Ohio, a lot of people from Tennessee, West Virginia, Virginia. We ship cars everywhere. And so, we've built a digital presence and a reputation that has made us be able to sell cars beyond just the tiny little town of Paris, Kentucky.
Awesome, man. Well, dude, we were looking forward to seeing you. It was great seeing you in Texas last month as well. So I look forward to seeing you again, and man, look forward to a phenomenal as always. And when are you speaking, Josh? I know you're going to be on our panel for BDC versus sales, but when are you going to be speaking in your workshop?
I'll be speaking Wednesday, right around that 10 o'clock range.
Beautiful. All right, man. Well, we look forward to seeing you, man, next week, and thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. And let's go to Matt Koenig. Matt Koenig, you've been listening in during the whole show, just about. So give us some of your comments about what you've heard and what you expect to see at Digital Dealer. Hello, Matt. Okay.
Koenig.
Looks like Matt's off.
Looks like let's
go back to
he was getting his glamour shot put together and he lost track of time.
Yeah, let's go back to Flo, and we're going to ask you to just make your closing comments and then maybe give your contact information for those who'd want to reach out and contact you.
Yes, thanks, guys. In closing, I just wanted to basically comment on the fact that we've talked a lot about video in the BDC department, using it for sales, but I just wanted everyone to realize when it comes to technology, I mean, it's really expanded all the way to service, to Mrs. Jones getting, she came in for an oil change, but she's receiving a video text about, hey, listen, you may want to take a look at these tires or take a look at this boot. So there's all kinds of creative ways to use video, and, just the most innovative dealerships are embracing it. And my contact information, it's just real easy. It's flo.lopez at autotrader.com, and look forward to seeing everybody on our session, which is Wednesday at 1:30 in room 25. A little plug there for me.
Awesome, Flo. Thank you so much for hanging with us, man. Look forward to seeing you next week. And let's go to Kerry Wise.
All
Kerry,
right, see you guys next week.
Yes, sir. Kerry, again, so looking forward to getting a chance to have you steal the show when you sit down with us, because you always do. You're so she's just always spot
natural.
on. Yeah, she's a natural.
She's a natural.
She owns it when she sits there.
I just love to be in front of a mic, so I thank you guys for sharing your show with me.
No.
It's going to be a great digital dealer. I'm going to start off on the 11th being on your show, and that's going to be fun. I think we're going to be talking about all things digital. And then I'm going to be speaking on Wednesday the 12th at 10 o'clock. So come see the habits of highly successful dealers. What are the best dealers doing out there that have the highest close rates? And it's going to be an informative session, something that you can bring back to your store at all levels. I just look forward to seeing you guys and everybody in the industry, dealers, vendors, everybody at Digital Dealer. It's going to be fun.
Well, I think you're going to have, if not already, you are going to have a packed session, because that's an incredible topic. And just on social media, some of the comments I've seen earlier when you were talking a little more about it, I think that you're going to have a packed house, because you can't have a better topic than that, and covers the bases. So thank you so much for bringing it.
And speaking of that, on Twitter, you can reach out to me on KKWise11. And if you like what I'm talking about during my session, I do have a hashtag that the guys from Next Up gave me. It's hashtag WiseUp. So reach out to me on Twitter.
Nice. All right. Thank you so much, Kerry.
Mr. Paulie Sansone Jr. I said it like I'm from your neck of the woods. Give us your final thoughts, brother.
Good. Well, again, just a little a plug for myself. You know, I'm a vendor also, providing tools and technology for salesmen to do what I do at my dealership, and that's help empower them to build their own business. If the dealers would recognize if their salesmen are truly more successful, that the dealership will be more successful. And in my view, if we focus on one problem, sales turnover, or eliminating or slowing it down, we solve low margin, low CSI, and high and low owner loyalty. So to me, if you can fix one problem that influences greatly three others, to me that's a good deal. So I wish. I'm trying to, at my store, and somebody mentioned all hats have to be in the game, meaning the dealer has to be involved, the manufacturer to some extent needs to be involved to fix the problem, and certainly you need to have buy-in from your management and sales staff. But if you can all pull it together, to me, if we fix that one problem, we will solve other bigger problems.
Awesome, man. Well, we look forward to having you on both our keynote panel, and you're going to be on our high gross panel as well, or its gross panel. I'm not sure what they call it.
We're going to call it That's Gross.
And it all goes down to gross, to be honest with you. It's all, can't pay your bills without making money. And in my mind, we can't make money unless we have a true professional meeting, greeting, talking, and whether that's virtually or in person, that's the focus at my store.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank Flo Lopez, John Marazzi, Kerry Wise, Paul Sansone Jr., and all of the callers. It's going to be a great show. We look forward to seeing every one of you guys next week, again, starting on Tuesday, and right here in our hometown. So we're excited, and thank you guys for listening. It's been great, man. You ready?
I'm ready. How
about you? How about you, man?
I'll be there. I'll have bells on too, so
bells.
That's how you
Come
know
to
it's me.
Digital Dealer. We're going to clothe you. We're going to have clothes.
Yes.
We're gonna have clothing.
We got some cool hats too, man. We
So
got
we
some
show
on-air
it.
hats. We got some hats with patches, like on-air patch.
I'm gonna cover up my Kramer hair with my
We got
with
some
my
hats
hat.
with like little microphone patches. These are sewn on. They're cool little things.
What are you doing? What are you doing? You're excited about that? That
All
was
right.
your idea? That was a
Guys,
good one.
thank you so much for listening, man. Have a great rest of this week, and have a phenomenal
God
weekend.
bless
And
you.
we'll
I'll
see
see
you
you
next
at
week.
DD22.